Good friends, when I was with His Reverence Hung Jen, I became enlightened as soon as I heard him speak. I suddenly saw the fundamental nature of suchness. Therefore, I am disseminating this teaching so that you who study the way may become suddenly enlightened and achieve Bodhi. You should each contemplate your minds and see the fundamental nature. If you do not become enlightened by yourself, then you must seek a great spiritual compatriot, someone who understands the Dharma of the Supreme Vehicle, to indicate directly the correct path for you. This spiritual compatriot will have a great background and will, so to speak, lead you to the attainment of seeing the nature. This is because the spiritual compatriot is able to manifest the causes of all the good dharmas. All the Buddhas of the 3 periods of time and the 12 divisions of the canon are fundamentally and naturally immanent within the natures of people. But if you cannot become enlightened yourself, you must seek a spiritual compatriot's instructions in order to see the nature. If you can become enlightened yourself, don't rely on external seeking. Don't think I am saying you can only attain emancipation through the help of a spiritual compatriot other than yourself. This is not the case. Why? Within your own minds there is a spiritual compatriot who will help you become enlightened by yourself. If you activate the false and deluded, you will become all mixed up with false thoughts. Although some external spiritual compatriots may be teachers, they cannot save you. If you activate the correct and true, and contemplate with Prajna, in a single instant, all your false thoughts will be completely eradicated. If you recognize the self-nature, with a single experience of enlightenment, you will attain the stage of Buddhahood. Good friends, in wisdom's contemplation, both interior and exterior are clearly penetrated, and one recognizes one's own fundamental mind. If you recognize your fundamental mind, this is the fundamental emancipation. And if you attain emancipation, this is the samadhi of Prajna. This is non-thought. What is non-thought? If, in seeing all the dharmas, the mind is not defiled or attached, this is non-thought. The mind's functioning pervades all locations, yet it is not attached to all the locations. Just purify the fundamental mind, causing the 6 consciousnesses to emerge from the 6 sensory gates, causing one to be without defilement or heterogeneity within the 6 types of sensory data, or 6 dusts. Autonomous in the coming and going of mental phenomena, one's penetrating function without stagnation. This is the samadhi of Prajna, the autonomous emancipation. This is called the practice of non-thought. If one does not think of the 100 things in order to cause thought to be eradicated, this is bondage within the Dharma. This is called an extreme view. Good friends, to be enlightened to the Dharma of non-thought is for the myriad Dharmas to be completely penetrated. To be enlightened to the Dharma of non-thought is to see the realms of all the Buddhas. To be enlightened to the Dharma of non-thought is to arrive at the stage of Buddhahood. Good friends, those who attain my Dharma in later generations will see and practice according to this sudden teaching exactly as I have explained. Because they will generate the vow to attain Buddhahood and maintain it as if they are serving the Buddha, they will not regress during their entire lives and will definitely enter the stage of sagehood. But they must transmit that which has been silently transmitted from before, imparting it without obscuring the true Dharma. If they do not see and practice as I have explained, but operate within the context of another Dharma, the transmission will not occur, and they will do a disservice or harm to their predecessors. Ultimately, this would be of no benefit to sentient beings. I fear that stupid people will not understand, and will revile this teaching, for which they will eradicate their seeds of Buddhahood for 100 eons and 1,000 lives. Good friends, I have a formless verse, which you should all listen to. Whether you are a householder or one who has left home, you should simply cultivate in reliance on this. To not cultivate enlightenment yourself, but merely to memorize what I say, would be of no benefit at all. Listen to my verse. The penetration of preaching and the penetration of mind are like the sun located in space. I transmit only the Dharma of seeing the nature. I have appeared in the world to destroy the false teachings. There are no sudden and gradual in the Dharma. It is delusion and enlightenment that are slow or fast. It is only this teaching of seeing the nature which stupid people cannot comprehend. Although there are a myriad ways to explain it, those which are reasonable all revert to the one. Within the dark house of the afflictions there always lives the sun of wisdom. The false comes, and the afflictions arrive too. The correct comes, and the afflictions are eliminated. Allowing neither false nor correct to function, in purity one arrives at the remainderless nirvana. Bodhi, fundamentally, is the self-nature. Activate the mind, and all is false. Purify the mind within the false. Just be correct in being without the three hindrances. If people in this world cultivate the way, that is, enlightenment, they will not be hindered by anything at all. Always see one's own errors and be in accord with the way. The categories of form have their own ways, and they do not hinder or afflict each other. If one seeks the way apart from the way, one will never see the way. If one passes one's life in prevarication, one will ultimately only cause oneself grief. If you want to see the true way, practice the correct, and this is the way. If one's eyes have no aspiration for the way, one will practice in obscurity and will not see the way. If one is a true cultivator of the way, one will not see the transgressions of the world. If one sees the errors of others, one's own errors will rather be augmented. If one considers others to be in error and not oneself, one's errors will automatically embody a transgression. Simply eliminate any inclination to see errors and smash away the afflictions. Repugnance and attraction have nothing to do with the mind. Stretch out both legs and lie down. If you want to teach others, you must have expedient means yourself. Do not make them destroy their doubts. This is what allows the self-nature to become manifest. Buddhism's being in the world is not separate from the awareness of the world. To seek Bodhi apart from the world is like searching for the horn of a hare. Correct seeing or views is called to escape the world. False seeing is to be in the world. When false and correct are completely destroyed, the nature of Bodhi is just so. This verse is the sudden teaching. It is also called the ship of the great Dharma. In delusion, one can listen to the sutras for eons, but enlightenment occurs in a moment. The Master spoke again. Now, at Tafan Monastery, I have preached this sudden teaching. I hope that all sentient beings throughout the Dharmadhatu will, at these words, see the nature and accomplish Buddhahood. At that time, everyone listening to the Master's preaching, Prefect Wei, the government staff, and the ordained and lay followers, all experienced enlightenment. Simultaneously, they bowed and sighed. How excellent! Whenever has a Buddha appeared in the world in Ling Nan?